I'm the last one. You're probably very tired. And even worse, I'm speaking about the topic you probably don't want to deal with, anxiety. Everybody of us, at some point in her or his life, will experience anxious moments. Maybe it develops worse into a full-blown anxiety that you need to see a doctor or a psychologist. How does anxiety feel like? One of my clients, she described it in this way, like a stormy ship. I just wanted to make sure whether the ship is really there. Like a stormy ship. What is a stormy ship about? You never know where it will go. Yeah? Big waves, small waves, irregular. That's the key topic of anxiety. Irregularity. That yields uncertainty, and you don't know what to do. You don't know what to expect. Your heart is pounding. Irregular. Your thoughts are ruminating, they're racing, and they change. You can never predict. You never know what happens next. That's the worst. That makes your uncertainty. That's the core of anxiety. Now, imagine the seaside is your brain, as wild as here. That's exactly what happens in the brain in anxiety. That's the way it looks like. We can measure that. The ship is yourself. It tries to navigate the stormy brain, and it fails, becomes uncertain. Now, you will say, all metaphors. How can we measure this? You want science, and science is the basis for proper treatment. This irregularity can be measured by what the physicists call entropy. You see, for instance, here, solid substance is very ordered and structured. There, the gas is chaos. There's no structure anymore. That's exactly what you can measure in your brain. Your brain in anxiety has extremely high entropy. Your waves, the neural waves, are very irregular, like the stormy sea. Now, what can we do to heal that? We say, I go to a doctor. You will have a 5-minute interview. Aha, anxiety. You get a pill, go home. The pill may or may not work after 2 or 3 weeks. And it may or may not cause some side effects. Uncertainty. You want some immediate symptom relief because your anxiety comes in specific moments. For instance, I will tell you later, in public speaking, called social anxiety. The alternative, you go to a psychologist. They may do cognitive behavior therapy with you. It may or may not work, and it takes time. Then you say, I'm fed up with all of this. I take it into my own hands. Go to the cannabis shop. Great. It works. But after 1 year, you become addicted. Now you have another problem, getting rid of the cannabis. So what you really want is immediate treatment. Now you go to the internet. What do you see? Slow breathing helps. The Indians have very breathing technique. And it tells me 6 breaths per minute, standard breathing rate. That's what you do. However, it may not work for you, because we tested that. Only in 10% of all subjects, 6 breaths per minute is the optimal breathing rate. The 90% remaining subjects have a preference for a different breathing rate. Why? Everybody is different. Everybody's anxiety is different, and I'm sure here among this audience, only 10% of you prefer 6, and the other one, a different breathing rate. Now, so meaning we need to personalize. How can we do this? We already showed one very nice example in the first talk of the day on concussion. You can personalize. The heart medicine, cardiology. You have a cardiac stress test. You test the capacity of the heart, how fast it can go on the treadmill. That's exactly what we do now for the anxiety. We test different breathing rates and see which breathing rate is the optimal breathing rate for the respective participant. And we measure EEG. We measure the brain waves, how regular or irregular your neural waves become with entropy. And then we select that breathing rate which has the lowest degree of entropy in the brain and the least anxiety on the psychological level, which we also test. And as I said, only 10% prefer 6, the standard breathing rate when you look onto the internet. The remaining 90% like 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, or 10 breaths per minute. For instance, I had one subject who did not like the slow breathing at all. Why? Traumatic experiences resurfaced. Yeah? His war experience resurfaced in the slow breathing. There you see how important it is to personalize, to listen to the patient. That's really key, the subjective experience of the anxiety. Now, then we use this breathing test, the optimal breathing rate, said this is a breathing rate, you do 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the evening, and we directly monitored that with little scales before and after about your thoughts, how much they were racing, and your anxiety level. And what we saw with 10 minutes breathing, reliable, a decrease 25 to 40%. Amazing, immediate, 10 minutes. No drug can achieve that. Sorry, no psychotherapy can achieve that. That is important. I come back to my earlier example. One of my clients was an engineer. Brilliant, brilliant woman. I learned a lot from her from engineering for the brain. But she could not give public talks because she suffered from what is called social anxiety. So what did I tell? We did the breathing test. Her optimal breathing rate was 5 breaths per minute. Then what did we do? Said, okay, before you talk, right before you talk, you disappear, go to the restroom, do 5 minutes of your breathing expertise. You saw I stayed. And that helped her through the talks. I have another example from the brain and heart. It's very amazing. There was another son of an older woman. He came to us, anxiety. We did the breathing test, 7 breaths per minute. And then his 80-year-old mother, who suffered from arrhythmia/irregularity in the heart, always did the breathing with him because she felt good after the breathing. Meaning the breathing synchronized and made her heart more rhythmic. In addition to the immediate effects, we also observed longer-term effects, 2-3 months, about 40 to 50%. So that tells you simple breathing in a personalized way can really help your anxiety. Now, that's the same success rate as in other therapies. The drug therapy has a success rate about 40 to 50% in severe anxiety states. Psychotherapy, similar. So we are somewhat similar with the breathing in the midterm effect, but we show the immediate effect. That is lacking in the other therapies. And that's what you want if you suffer from anxiety. Direct, immediate symptom relief. The longer the anxiety goes on, the worse for your brain, the worse for your mind. Now, and the breathing has no side effect. What we developed to make it more easily applicable, we developed an app. You can put it on your phone and directly do the testing on the phone and the therapy sessions on the phone. So everything, even the diagnostic testing, is automatized, online, available. Now, come to the end. In order to make this to a wider audience, that question came up earlier, beyond the research realm, we established a company. It's not that I want to become rich. It's not my intention. My intention is to make mental health treatment of, for instance, anxiety better, more like in other medical disciplines. There's a saying, before therapy comes a diagnostics. That holds for cardiology, for cancer medicine. They made amazing progress in the last 20 to 30 years. Psychiatry, before therapy, comes a 5 minutes interview. What you want, diagnostics. That's the first step. And we developed a whole platform technology as part of a company where we, in addition to, for instance, the breathing therapy, we also developed a personalized music therapy. You bring your preferred pieces, we manipulate the speed, test the impact of the different speeds of the music on your brainwaves. You'll be surprised. The original speed of your preferred piece might not be the best for your brain. Amazing, even in healthy subjects. In addition, we also developed for more biological treatments like pharma and also stimulation, magnetic stimulation, developed computational models, artificial intelligence, neural network models, which allow us to simulate the therapy in the brain of a brain model of the subject. Why do I do that? Before stimulation, you should simulate. What is the take-home message? There's hope. There's hope that mental disorders like anxiety and others like schizophrenia, depression, bipolar disorders can be treated based on diagnostic as in other medicines, like in medical fields, like in cardiology, like in cancer medicine. There's hope, and that we can really develop a personalized and precision-based psychiatry which makes you understanding your subjective experiences and remedies them. Thank you very much.